How's it going, guys? I kind of figured I've got the day off, so I figured what I was going to do was kind of take a rundown through all of what I use for recording. I've had a lot of people ask me questions about like the guitars I have, obviously, and what equipment I use when I do record. So I guess I'll start with guitars. I guess I'll work least amount of strings up to the most amount of strings I've got. Hello, thank you. First up is my new 6-string, my Chapman ML1. Obviously this has become my main 6-string guitar, but as to why I actually got the thing, I've been in the market for a new 6-string for a while. I love my S, but 6 strings have always been kind of a hard thing to hit for me for some reason. I've gone through a lot. Like most guitar players, I went through my gas stages where I had, an inordinate amount of guitars. I don't even know how many I've owned and gotten rid of, but what I ended up coming to probably about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, is I decided I was just going to have one of each kind of guitar I needed. So one 6-string, one 7-string, one 8-string, one bass, and then a jazz box. Really? Really? Right now? But anyway, I decided to pick this one because I did a lot of research. And obviously, like probably most of you guys, I've watched a lot of Rob Chapper's videos, and I thought the concept of how he had this guitar designed was just phenomenal. Where he had a bunch of guitar players essentially design it. I love that idea. So I figured it was worth a shot. I'd gotten rid of my S, so I might as well give it a throw. Like I mentioned in my review of it, obviously I'm a big Ibanez fan, but they haven't always been, in my opinion, like the holy grail of guitars. My old Godin Freeway was probably one of my favorite 6 strings. Really. As well as a PV Wolfgang. I've actually had 2 or 3 of those. So I went ahead and ordered this, and I really couldn't be happier. I think it's amazing. This is probably going to be my staple 6-string for quite some time until I get a custom one made. Eventually, I'm sure I will. But it's just great. It sounds great. I already ordered a Pro Track from DiMarzio to put in the neck there, just because I'm not a big single coil tone fan. So I'll have a single coil humbucker going in there. But everything else about this guitar is pretty amazing. And after doing all the research, that's kind of why I went with this guy. And I love the trim. I love that it's not a locking trim, because I hate locking trims. Next up would be my bass, which I've got a VTB 456, big old 6-string bass. I had to sell my Thumb 5-string a while back, even though I didn't really want to. That's kind of like, the Thumb was my dream bass. I love the thing. I used it, but it wasn't, it was kind of like having a Ferrari and never actually driving it. It just kind of sat in my closet. I wasn't playing it a whole lot, as much as I love bass. So I actually sold it. To pay for some expenses from recording and stuff like that. When I was up in Indiana with the Mudvayne guys, in my band On the Shoulders of Giants, which you should check out. Shameless plug. But so I sold it, covered some of the expenses, and then figured I should get a 6-string bass, because this way, having the band kind of be cross country, the bass player lives in Indiana. So this way, I had him send me a set of his strings he uses on his 7-string, and I just didn't use the high C 3-strung it, so now I go down to F sharp, which is nice because when I'm recording stuff now I can do demos an actual octave below my 8-string for any On the Shoulders Giant stuff, which is awesome. But also the controls on this bass, which I'm still getting used to. It's got an active, like a normal active EQ on it. It's got a mid-frequency control, boost or cut for the mids, treble booster cut, bass booster cut, pickup blender, volume. But it's actually really impressive what I can get out of it. I've been messing around with doing these backing track things, so I'm getting other YouTube guitar players to go along with it, and it's been able to get pretty much any tone. I just did one that I'll be doing with Ben Wilshire on here. That's like a heavier 8-string, kind of like pushing groove thing, and I couldn't figure out a bass tone that actually melded with it, and I just started screwing with these, and ended up getting like the perfect tone for it. So I'm pretty happy with this bass, and the fact that it actually hold a low F sharp on here and still maintain relative playability. I mean, I really barely even had to file out the nut, which is pretty nice. But so that's why I went with this guy. Scooch dog. On to hard cases and more than 6 strings. I've got my RG7620, which is awesome. I got this guy off of Craigslist. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a fan of locking tremolos, and this guitar is no exception, really. The reason I had this and I had my S is because the deals I got on them were really unbeatable, so I figured it was worth it. But actually, I'm going to be selling this guitar to my buddy Phil Plascota, who runs Sonic Assault Studios. Check them out if you haven't, because they put out some pretty ridiculous stuff. We actually had some unfortunate stuff happen where he ended up not having his 7620 anymore. So I told him I'd sell him mine for pretty much what I paid for it. It is a phenomenal guitar. I'm blown away with the sound it gets, everything about it. It plays just ridiculous. It's probably one of the best 7s I've ever played, apart from some customs. But I mean, the store I used to work in carried Ibanez, and I played a bunch of prestiges, including the RGDs, 2127, all those guitars. Jam, a buddy of mine's got a nice Jam 7-string, or Universe, sorry. And still, these guitars are ridiculous. I'm pretty sure it's a 99, I'm not positive on it. When I got it, I kind of went through, put a new volume and tone knob in it, replaced the pickup, still probably put back in there. But this is a pretty phenomenal guitar for 7 strings if you're looking for one. If you're somebody that's asked me about 7 strings, you'll know I usually push people in the direction of trying to hump a used one of these down for a 7621, because in my opinion they're pretty much unbeatable guitars for the price. Oh shush. Nobody asked you. Alright, next. It's my baby girl, my AFJ 957. I have to be careful because every time I pull this out, I don't want to do anything else but actually play on it. This is one of my most loved guitars, not only that I have now, but that I've probably ever owned. I've always wanted a 7-string jazz box. Ever since I first heard Bucky and John Pizzarelli, especially being from New Jersey and loving jazz myself. When I finally saw these come out, I pre-ordered it before, like the day that the old Ibanez catalog leaked. I went to Brent's up in Fort Myers and pre-ordered this thing because I just couldn't wait to try it. And it exceeded my expectations. For the price point, the thing is amazing. It sounds great. I do wish they had a Benedetto pickup that would fit that. They either have the full-size 7-string or the floating one, which this is a mounted mini 7-string humbucker, which is kind of inconvenient, but it still sounds great. Yeah, I got this because I had an Epiphone Joe Pass, which is an amazing 6-string jazz box, but I really wanted to get the 7, so I sold off the Joe Pass and got this guy. And it's amazing, especially I'm planning on moving up to New York, like I said in a couple of my other videos. Planning on moving up there end of the year probably, and I'll probably be doing a lot more jazz stuff up there. I'm going to be trying to, what are you eating? Be trying to get a job up there, both teaching and probably gigging into a jazz group, either solo stuff or just kind of filling in. so I'll probably be using this a lot. And I can't wait. I love this guitar. It's like a part of me. If you're looking for a 7-string jazz box, go for it. The only ones I found were like those Eastman ones that are even remotely affordable, and used ones like just about $2,000. So definitely an amazing guitar. And last but not least is my 8-string. The Tank, the Monster, the gorgeous RG2228 I have. Now this is not a 2228A, this is a legitimate 2228. I don't know if you can actually see the sparkle in the video there, probably not. But it does have the sparkle on it. This is one of the first run ones. Again, I got this one from Brent's up in Fort Myers. They had it for a while, and me and Phil were arguing over who was going to get it first, and I ended up winning. I sold a thumb 4-string bolt-on I had. That, my tack return, turned into this, which actually wasn't that bad. I actually got a pretty good deal on it, especially for being brand new. They were just having trouble getting rid of the thing. Let's see, what did I do? It's somewhat modded. When I got her, first thing I did was switch out the pickups as soon as I could. I switched out the EMGs to Bare Knuckle Miracle Man set, which I regret. I wish I never did, but they were really the only passive pickups I could even really get for this thing, besides getting Lundgrens, which in the long run, I probably wish I would have done that instead, even though it was a little more expensive. I got the Bare Knuckles as soon as the DiMarzios came out, bailed on the Bare Knuckles and got the DiMarzios in there. And then I just recently did that video doing the Nazgul versus the Deactivator set. I mean, I've also had, if you followed me, I've also had X-bars in there. Quit it. I've got a PAF in the neck now as opposed to the old Deactivator neck pickup. That pickup I just gave to John Dell'Isola Instruments, who's building my custom 8, which I can't wait for. But that'll be a completely other video. Let's see, besides the pickups, electronics, I replaced the little Japanese 3-way switch they had in there. I put a heavy-duty Fender, like, Tele 3-way switch in there, just because I feel like they're more rugged. If you've ever seen them, they're big, boxy things. I put a 1 meg pot in the volume position and a 250K in the tone position. I get a lot of questions as to why I've done that. From my understanding, I did a lot of guitar repair at the store I used to work at. I ended up being a shop tech for the last 4.5 years I was there. And what I've discovered was, with potentiometers, the higher the rating, the less control you have over it, but the more push you get, so the more of the actual sound you're getting from the pickup and the guitar. So with a 1 meg, you're getting pretty much 0, 5, and 10 is a good way to look at it. You don't have every little range in between, but you're also getting a lot more of the pickup, and I don't really mess with my volume all that much usually on this guitar. It's usually full blast the whole time. Whereas my tone, I do use a lot, doing the clean stuff especially. So I put the 250 in there. They kind of even out, or I'm getting about the same as I would if I had 500 Ks in both, but with that I get a lot more control over my actual tone. I've actually got the full range of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up. What else did I do? As I've said twice now, I hate locking tremolos, even though it's not a tremolo. I had the nut, I took the locking nuts off there. I don't know if you can see those. I pulled the locking nuts off the day I got it, and I lost them 2 days later, so I have no idea where those are. But I put my little Irish Represent and sweatband up there for muting instead of using those Groove Gear things, which are cool, but I have no use to anything besides this. This works just fine, and it represents, you know, my heavily Irish side, and I love the concept of black and green, which is why we fall on this. My little decal I had run here by Sam Rose of SR10 Designs. If you follow me, you know I'm a huge BioShock fan. So I got the old Andrew Ryan quote, "A man chooses, a slave obeys," which I thought was awesome. since when I get my custom, this will probably be my main straight ahead destroying metal axe. So I figured why not graphic it out. I mean, I've had this guitar for a while, so it's not like it's in pristine condition. It's been pretty beat up. I got, chips, and I don't even know if you can really see them on there, but I got chips on the guitar, gashes all over it. Oh, and the back plates. I made my own back plates out of myrtle wood a while back, because I thought it looked cool back there as well. I may end up just changing those to green plastic to match this and that. That's really it for guitars. I can't forget my sweet X-Match strap. I mean, in terms of behind the camera stuff, I've got, I'll show you guys. Whoop. Stuff's falling everywhere. I do keep this a mess. I don't know why. It's just got my keys and stuff like that on there. I've got my Axe-Fx standard. I do use the standard just because I'm fairly minimalist with tone and stuff. It came with the case and the Fractal audio standard for $1,000, I think. So you really can't beat it, and it is a pretty big difference from the HD 500 I was using. I run Reaper because it's free and because I have no idea what I'm doing. I know just enough to get me in trouble. Contact and Steven Slate samples. I run my Axe-Fx into this M-Audio Fast Track. I use the mic line inks. I think the guitar line is broken. I'm not sure. And studio monitors. I just have little cheapy Yamaha MSP3s. And my big computer, which is built by Casey Doyle. Thank you very much. I mean, this is what I do all my video editing, computer editing, everything on. There's my dog playing with a bottle. And then for the video stuff, I use Sony Vegas. And my camera, the one I got stolen was a D3100. This one's a D5100, which is my girlfriend's, and she is amazing for actually letting me borrow this thing, not thinking I'll destroy it, which I promise I'm trying not to. That's pretty much it, really. If you guys have any questions about anything else, let me know. I'll gladly answer it. Usually my days off or my nights, I usually try to devote all the music stuff. But thank you to all you guys for actually being out there and actually supporting me. I do have a lot of cool stuff going on. I've got, like I said, I've got a split solo video like I did with my buddy Paul Oz. I've got one of those coming up with Darius Wave, who I've been a fan of for a while. I've also got one I'm doing with Ben Wilshire. Like I said, I just finished up the track, which is what you saw sitting on Reaper. So that one's going to be cool. Sam Bell, when he gets the time, we already agreed to do one, but he's been pretty slammed with the Lick Library stuff and all that, and a couple other people. So there should be a lot of stuff coming out here, as well as probably the last On the Shoulders of Giants playthrough. Once again, man, thank you guys very much.